What's up, y'all? Take a deep breath with me one time. Cool. Now that we got that out the way, I saw this thing on Instagram, and it was like mistakes not to make in your 20s. Things you want to avoid when you're, growing up, in your formative, 20s, early 20s years. And one of the things in there really stood out to me because it was relatable, and I think we should all, benefit from it some way or another. And the first thing that they regret doing is not pressing like on the YouTube video. So, give me a quick thumbs up on the video. I'm gonna give you all a couple seconds for that, and then I'll get right to it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so one thing that a lot of people regret is telling other people their plans before they accomplish them. Um, and then I was interested by that because I've heard that before, but I've felt that before, but I never heard it put out like that before. In terms of like, it made sense when I heard it because I didn't piece the two together. I didn't piece it together in my mind like that ever before. So I did some more research on it, and there's this phenomenon. It's called, what's it called? Let me see. It is the illusion of progress, right? So let's use an example. I want to start my own business, or I want to be rich, right? So I go around telling people this, like, hey man, I want to start my own business. I think I'm gonna be successful and I'm gonna get rich. The issue with that is people are gonna be like, yeah man, you got it. Keep doing what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. They believe you, they trust you, and they give you like positive reinforcement, which is like what people, I think that might be their natural reaction, unless there's some haters, or they're, doubters in your vision. But what the issue with that is that gives you a false sense of progress. That's what this whole phenomenon is about. It's like, since you spoke on it and you got some positive feedback, you feel good about yourself, even though you haven't done anything yet. You just talked. You just said these words, and you feel good about yourself. Versus, so I reframe those questions, or I reframe those statements. I want to get rich. I want to be successful, into action, right? Hey man, I just started investing $500 a month, investing and saving $500 a month, so I can hit X amount of dollars in a couple years, right? That's action. You're taking action. You don't have to show them your bank account, but you're not just talking like, hey man, not having a plan. So that, and like, hey, I want to be successful. I want to start my own business. I just started taking these classes. They're gonna help me. They're gonna teach me how to start my own business. I've been networking. I've been meeting people, setting up interviews, and it's been very helpful so far. And I have plans to do XYZ because I've already done XYZ. So I just want to continue doing that. And the main difference between, hey, I want to get rich, and hey, I'm taking classes to get rich, is the action. And people are inspired by the action. You can't inspire people with words that aren't backed up. So if you want to, get a dopamine shot, a shot of dopamine, you should, rather than walk around telling people your plans, you should actually act on these plans, and then people will notice, people will see, and then you'll get actual positive reinforcement from your action instead of your words. So, another example, I have this friend from middle school, and we never really talked about like muscle growth or getting big, right? But he was always fit and into fitness in general. So I'm scrolling through Instagram, and then I see a post by him that he posted, and like I said, we never talked about getting big, but this man was huge, right? This man got super swole out of nowhere, and I didn't hear a peep. He didn't post like those, he didn't post any workouts. He didn't like tell me he was in the gym, blah, blah, blah. But he got big as hell all of a sudden. So I'm like, okay, like, to me, that's, actions speak louder than words. So now I'm like, I feel more inclined to trust his growth journey versus someone who's just telling me, hey man, I want to get big, blah blah blah. I'm gonna start hitting the gym next week, you know, instead of actually lifting weight, and then calling me FaceTime like, hey man, I just left the gym, bro. What you do today? You know, it's those type of things where you lead with the action instead of the words, and people start trusting you more. People start believing in your vision a lot more as well. Yeah, so I mean, one thing that when I started my music blog, all right, I wanted to talk about that a bit because I didn't tell too many people about that. I asked some people for advice, like some friends, like, hey, what do you think? Because for me, I knew what an artist needed. They need promotion, they need exposure, right? So I didn't have too many questions, especially to, like, you know, friends who weren't artists. I feel like they couldn't provide the insight that I already had. So what I did, I just had a revelation, like, okay, I need to start promoting myself a lot better. I wish there was a platform that I could reach out to who would put a package together, put me on their playlist, you know, post my music, post my videos, and it would look good and it wouldn't cost too much. So what I did was I just created my own, and that process, it was all behind the scenes. There was like 2-3 people who knew what I was doing, but the broad majority of people didn't know what it was going on behind the scenes until it was in their face, and then they see it and they're like, damn, this is cool, you've been working behind the scenes. So they trust my, you know, my business acumen in terms of, okay, he must have been thinking about this must have been a thing that he really wanted to do, and he was grinding to get to it. And you see this all the time with, like, you know, music surprise drops, people, you know, content creators, you know, obviously they have a schedule, but they're not going to tell you what the next video is because they want to put that work in. They want to put their head down, and they want you to be surprised when you see it and be like, oh shit, I've been thinking like that too. I'm glad he was already 5 steps ahead of me because he already thought about it, posted a video before I even heard it from his mouth, right? So just some tips I wanted to share with you guys. Actions speak louder than words. If your goals are to inspire people and, you know, be a voice of reason, voice of change, you guys need to have the actions to back that up. And that was what I wanted to talk about today. I hope you guys learned something from that, and I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Appreciate you for subscribing, and we just hit 80 subs. I'm going to New Orleans tomorrow, and yeah,